We're back, part 2. This is the NLCS, ALCS.
Right.
That's it.
Discussion.
Division
No, not the division series. They're done. Championship.
Championship.
Winners go. One series tied 2-2. We talked a little bit about it. The other one 3-0, leaning very heavily towards the Dodgers.
Yes.
Do the Cubs have a chance?
Clear. No, they're done. I don't see the Cubs coming. I mean, we picked them to. I mean, I want to go. Yeah, they can do it. No, they're done.
Yeah, I don't think they're
I
coming
had
back
the
in.
Red Sox way back when at
Yep.
the beginning of the year. So
Speaking of the Red Sox, we didn't talk about it earlier. Did you see how the Red Sox organization got trolled by the Yankees?
as far as
On Twitter, the Red
they
Sox
fired their manager.
the Red Sox put a tweet on there like, "It's almost 5 o'clock. Be safe getting home in the traffic, and rest." And the Yankees fired something like that, and the Yankees fired back, 5 o'clock this afternoon. Oh yeah, first pitch is 5:08. We'll be working, thank you.
Yeah, they fired their manager. That's funny. That's correct. That's funny.
So you have to look up the series of tweets there, but it was whoever's doing the social media for the Yankees was quick and on time, and the Red Sox had no response from that. And you've got to burn the Red Sox nation with that one.
That's hilarious.
And the Cubs?
I think the Cubs are done. I feel for them. They had a shot, but their bullpen just not strong enough. Just let them down. And the Dodgers have started playing like the Dodgers who played before August.
Yep.
And so,
impressive.
they have played well. They've hit the ball well. They've pitched it well. As we talked about, their bullpen is incredible in the postseason. So,
Chris Taylor.
yeah.
He's been great.
You know what's fascinating is the Dodgers, historically, one of the great organizations.
Sure.
Okay.
Since '88, right?
It's been Kirk Gibson,
Kirk
30
Gibson,
years that they've been in the. That's mind blowing. The Marlins have been there twice.
Right.
Yeah.
They have not been to the World Series in 30 years.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, if you'd asked me that question as a trivia question, I would have got it wrong, because I would have said, surely, yeah, no, they've been there before then, but yeah, it's been a while. And they've been close. I mean, they were close a couple of times. They've been right there at it, and you thought they're going to get in, and they don't. They choked it away, but I don't think they're going to choke this one away. I don't think there's enough wind in Chicago to blow enough to keep the Cubs in it. I think they're out. I think they're done. They might win one. I mean, maybe they
There's
win.
just a lot of interesting, different things. Staying with the National League,
Sure.
how the Cubs got in it to begin with. Dusty Baker. That to me is one of the most mind-blowing 10 consecutive games where if he wins, he advances, that he has lost.
0-10.
Well, what did he?
Which means you get to that clinching game.
What did he do in your mind that lost the game?
He pulled his 2 starters way too early in back-to-back games.
Okay, so that in your mind, that was the difference.
He had to win 1 game.
I'm
He
not
had
asking
3
it.
games to win.
I'm not. At what point did Dusty Baker grab a bat, get up in the box? At what point did Dusty Baker take the ball and go out on the hill? At what point did Dusty Baker suit up and put on spikes and go field a position?
Well, he did it with the Braves, didn't he?
And the Dodgers.
That was a long
And
time
the
ago,
Dodgers.
right? I'm talking about in this series. In those 10 games, at what point did Dusty Baker do any of those things?
So you think Dusty Baker has nothing to do with
I'm not
it?
saying that. I just want you to point out what you think Dusty Baker did wrong in those 10 games that caused him to lose.
I can't remember.
Every play. But you said he pulled his pitchers too early.
So
But this time, I think he had those games won.
and you think by him pulling his pitcher, he lost the game.
I really do.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment.
I mean, the game, it was, the Strasburg game more than any. I mean, he was dealing. 7 shutout innings.
And why do you pull Strasburg?
13 strikeouts, and they're not even coming close.
But you can't really fault him in the last game and putting Scherzer in there.
Well, that's not the one game, though. But the game Scherzer pitched right before Strasburg, which was at 2-0, why did he pull Scherzer?
No, I'm talking about when he puts Scherzer in.
No, I'm saying in games 3 and 4. In game 3, he had Scherzer dealing. In game 4, he had
That's not a
Strasburg
clinching
dealing.
game, though. You're talking about
It
the
was a clinching game. It was 2-0, dude.
That's not. Was it 2-0?
It was 2-0.
2-0.
Oh,
He had a chance to win, lost. Had a chance to win,
that's right. It
lost.
was
Had
a
a
short-
chance to win, lost.
It was a short series. I
Right,
forgot.
it was 5 games.
It was a 5-game series.
Yeah.
And then there were 7 games before that every time, where it's either gone a game 7 and
They've lost or a game 5.
lost, a game 5, or a game 6 with a 3-2 lead. He lost 2 games.
You know, well, I think it's unfair to blame the manager for game 7 losses unless you can point to a bonehead move. And you might can say that, okay, he should have left his pitchers in there. But you don't know what would have happened in the next inning, right or
Oh
wrong.
no!
So
and
it's
sometimes
it's still if you make the decision. Now, if you're like, okay, I'm Dusty Baker and I put Bob in to pitch,
Yeah, will you be fired?
that would be a poor decision.
Right, that'd be bad.
But if I go to Scherzer in that,
come on.
No.
Have you seen Bob pitch?
I know how Bob
Yeah.
can't pitch. He said before he wasn't a good baseball player.
No, it was terrible.
So, but I'm just saying, if that's the decision, okay, I can see that. But if you make a reasonable decision that most baseball people would make, then I don't know how you blame the manager for putting a guy in a position that he fails.
How many times did he, and this is something we've talked about before, is guys, you got somebody like Strasburg, ride that nag till he drops. You know, and if he's going good, but you're playing the game, and that's what baseball does.
McCullers last night.
Right.
Same thing.
Same thing.
You know, I think
just don't understand.
I think there's big time dollars invested in these.
Oh,
guys.
completely. Yes. Yes.
And Strasburg has already been injured. He's already had to sit out a year.
Well, McCullers is coming off. You know, McCullers hadn't pitched in a month.
So maybe it's the same thing. Maybe, you know, there's a thing from the trainer,
But-
GM, or
but
something
see,
come down and said,
but-
hey,
but-
this guy's on a strict pitch count. He can go 100 pitches, but he can't go 110. He can go 104, but he can't go 110.
So let me ask you this question as a,
I don't
as a
know
fan.
what was there.
Who was the person who came up with 100 pitch count? Who decided the 100 pitch count, the century mark is where I mean, how do you know it's not 82 pitches or 104?
It's different for different guys.
Right, exactly. And so I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that sounds bad.
Levon Hernandez, it was 150.
Right, 150. I mean,
Right, I mean, it's what I think we've gotten soft. But again, I think the reason why we've gotten soft is because there's so much money invested
yes,
in the
I agree.
pitchers.
Yes, there is.
You want to protect your investment.
Right.
Well, and they have not been brought up.
Sure.
To
And
throw
pitch to
in.
6 innings.
Right.
All you got to do is get to the 6. Just get it to the 6, kid, and we'll come get you.
Right.
Well, and they're being evaluated right now to go to college or to get signed on 2 innings of work.
Sure.
You know, you got a 7-inning game and you got 4 different pitchers.
And the Cubs
showcased.
last night, they bring Carl Edwards in.
Oh gosh, how
horrible.
do you walk a pitcher on 4 straight
pitches?
And here's my other question there. It wasn't just him. There was another question. Contreras needs to keep his butt behind the plate. He doesn't need to come out every pitch and tell the pitcher to throw a strike. Pitcher knows he needs to throw a strike. He knows it's the opposing pitcher up there. He knows you're not telling him anything he doesn't know. Just squat your butt back there, put your glove right in front of your cup, and sit there and shut up and let me throw a pitch. And if I throw 2 fastballs that miss, by gosh, don't call another fastball on 2-0. Give me a breaking pitch. Give me an off-speed pitch. Give me something else that I can throw just to get my mind away from the fact that I can't throw a fastball over the middle of the plate right now. Because if you notice, the next batter came up, the first pitch he threw was a fastball he missed. The second pitch he threw was a breaking ball for a strike. He threw another breaking ball for a strike. He threw another breaking ball and got him out. Throw 3 breaking balls if you can't throw a fastball. And if you're the pitcher, you shake him off.
Do you still put your glove in front of your cup?
You better,
If you
because
got-
that's where I'm going to hit you.
Okay.
Look where he took the one pitch off his bicep.
Because there's a phrase that Coach Eddie Cartieri at USF used to say, but I can't say it on here. But when he wanted a pitch right down the middle, he would call for a certain pitch. And it has to do with like hitting a chicken, a chicken shot.
Oh,
Hitting a chicken shot.
chicken shot.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
heard that
figure the rest of it out.
Yeah.
All right? So that's what the catcher didn't have to put his glove anywhere because you're trying to hit him right in the cup. And you throw a pitch to the catcher's cup, it's a strike.
before. Right.
Unless the catcher's really tall or really short. In that case, then you have to move it up a little bit.
Or anatomically incorrect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, at that point, that's all he had to do. But he couldn't do it against the
Put
pitcher.
his cup, protect his shoulder.
Yeah, maybe. He couldn't throw a strike at that
couldn't.
point. And we were talking about that earlier. How in the world can you be at the big league level and just not get me over fastball?
Against the pitcher.
And that at bat, I thought really turned the game because I think it took the crowd out of it
Completely.
If they strikes him out there, because they had a pinch hitter that was on deck, and then they decided to stay with him, and they were basically giving up 2 runs, and they ended up getting 1 out of the 2.
Yeah.
So.
And I mentioned Chris Taylor earlier. You know, he'd been in the Seattle organization and he's been on the bench, and he has just been unbelievable in in this series.
It is. Well,
He's back home, right? And he grew up in Southern California.
But the whole team. But the whole team.
But
And
I say was his swing. Have you seen a guy lately with a more savage type? I mean, you talk about pitchers, max effort. His swing is max effort every time.
But and then the other thing, a year ago we were sitting back talking about what team he's going to be on and the discipline and is the leash. Whatever.
Yeah.
What about the work of that the Dodgers did with Yasiel Puig?
They kept him. Whoever got to him, got to him.
Yep. Did a great job with him because he's been unbelievable. I mean,
The whole season.
yeah.
I mean,
he's had a good year.
He has, and he's a great talent.
He's a great talent.
If you can keep his head in the game and keep him on track.
Well, he's no longer the focus that he was. And I think
right.
when the attention isn't there
Yep.
and the limelight isn't there, you just quietly go and do your work.
Right, but he could have the attention and focus back with one boneheaded thing that he does.
Right.
So somebody has obviously told him, look, in order to be a great player, you've got to do this. And I don't know who it was, but whoever it was ought to bottle that. And there's a number of other players who ought to get that same instruction who would be better players if they would stop thinking of themselves more than they think of a team. And I think that's really what he's done. He started to feel out, okay, if we're going to win this, somebody set him down and said, if we're going to win and we're going to be in the World Series and we're going to be a champion, you've got to be the leader on the field and not do all the crazy stuff that's distractions off the field.
Yep.
Or on the field.
Or on the field.
Or on the field.
On the field, that matter. Just go about your business, play the game, and let's win. And you'll find out it's a lot more fun to do that than it is to showboat.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's the one guy that it has been the pitching staff. I mean, the bullpen.
Their bullpen's sick.
But
Jansen's unbelievable. I mean, he's.
I guess they gave up a run. I went to bed because it was so late when the game was on.
I fell asleep the other
I
night.
couldn't watch the end of it. So I guess the bullpen gave up a run, or I don't know if the starting pitcher, if Darvish gave up a run, or
I don't know.
I don't know.
If they go to the World Series, TBS or Fox,
Oh, man.
whatever, what channel? And we talked about this.
Man.
At least there's none on the
MLB.
Man.
One of the playoff games was on MLB Network, which I happen to have, but a lot of people don't.
I don't. And
At least this year they weren't on the. What's the mystery one?
Yeah, I forget. I know what you're talking about.
Well, you've got to have cable in order to
Prime
watch
and
it.
ID channel or something. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it's
Still not on network TV.
It's not.
If
It's
you don't have
ridiculous.
cable TV,
you can't see
you
it.
can't see the game.
Go to a bar. I mean, you can't go to a
No,
friend's
and
house.
it really is. It's
It's
very,
ridiculous.
And that I think that
And
The
hurts your
World
sport.
Series. Baseball has
Shot stuff
done nothing to. Last night you got
And
a
you got
big
Fox.
series. You got 2 baseball games on. In the
neither of
NLD, and I got an invitation last night to go to a sports bar to go watch the Celtics and Cavaliers. And I didn't even know, and I should be on top of it a little bit more, but I didn't even know the NBA season had started.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it started last night.
Yeah.
And I think the
Who did you
playoffs.
get the invitation from?
From
a friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
But I'm just sitting there saying, see, but that's where baseball's gotten, by
Yeah.
having their games on the home shopping network.
Yeah.
You know,
It's pathetic.
You don't have anybody. You're not building up any base with people who just might casually be turning that. It used to be, you had back in the day when you had to get up and turn your TV antenna by hand. Turn the antenna
like this.
to get it. Back then you only had 3 networks, and you had a game on one of those 2 networks. You're more likely to go, oh, okay, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
Because it's 1/3 of the thing. You don't like the other 2 shows. Now, they don't even try to compete against network TV. They just put it on some cable network.
well, and the thing about TBS too is they haven't been doing baseball all year, so they wind up getting.
Oh, don't start.
And I gotta
with the
say,
announcers.
that's what I'm gonna say. Just because you played doesn't mean you should be behind the microphone.
Who's behind the microphone?
Ron Darling.
Earlier,
Ron Darling.
Ron
Ron Darling is horrible. I'm sorry, Ron, but you're not. It's not.
He's
no.
right up there with Carlos Pena.
Oh man,
And
Get some guys that know the game that've been broadcasting all year long. Put them out there.
Yeah.
I was watching, and I'm going to go YouTube, the 65 series, and they had Ray Scott and Vin Scully. Why can't they have the two announcers from the two teams share the game?
Because they're still doing their own
I know,
radio
exactly.
broadcast.
I know, but but the radio guys could come over and do it, or the TV guys can come over and do it.
They're still
they have more
working
than two people.
Well, no, not every broadcast, not every market has
Right,
TV.
The
guys.
Dodgers didn't. But, I mean, Dodgers, Vin Scully did it, but like Tampa Bay,
No.
because some of those guys are just, you almost want to mute it and just watch it.
I do. But I've been doing that for years. I did it when.
No, the Dodgers had Charlie Steiner and
Charlie Steiner,
Yeah,
right,
they've
Rick
got their own
Mundy.
people.
Hey, but you know what?
Anybody.
It's still baseball. You get to watch it, and
Pee Wee Herman.
it was good. I don't think we're gonna get
Open the
Herman.
door.
We're done.
We're
Time's
done.
up.
We're done.
We're past. 15
Two
minutes
and
is
two.
gone.
Hey, we'll see you next
Done.
week.
Peace.
Bye.